Dr. Death scheduled to be with us in the hour. Michael P.S. Hayes will make an appearance. It's going to be a great hour. We're so glad that you're with us. We hope that you will join us for the First Blood bunkhouse brawls in your area. I'll elaborate on that a little bit more in the hour. But right now, let's go down to ring announcer Doyle King.
Ladies and gentlemen, entering the ring at this time, General Skandor Akbar presents, weighing in at 495 pounds, 6 feet 9, from Halsted Street, Chicago, the one-man gang, the Universal Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. And to my left, weighing in at 240 pounds, from Dallas, Texas, Mike Reed. This event is scheduled for one fall, a 10-minute time limit.
Our first match here on Power Pro Wrestling from the Cowtown Coliseum pits perhaps the most awesome force in the history of this sport. 6'9", 495 pounds, the Giant, the one-man gang, the reigning Universal Heavyweight Champion, against young Mike Reed here on Power Pro, and the gang wastes no time and taking over on Mike Reed. And one thing about the one-man gang, he will punish you and punish you and punish you some more. That's his style. That's the way he likes it. He's vocal, and he backs up what he says. He's a giant of a man, as I mentioned. And his situation with Hacksaw Jim Duggan has got to be considered the most brutal feud in the history of this sport. Someone in that one is definitely has the potentiality of being taken completely out as the gang kicks away and is completely controlling this young man from right here in the Metroplex, Mike Reed. Reed at 240, coming off the ropes, but the gang, really, I don't think it's, I know he's feeling the blows, but they don't have any impact. The gang with that slam, he's 6'9", remember. The one-man gang with a 747, and I don't care who you are, that's all of it. The one-man gang with a victory. And I'll be back with Don Walton of the Dallas Times-Herald, and we'll take a look at Savannah Jack in action after this timeout. Universal Wrestling Federation will be in Metairies, J.D. Miser Junior High School Gymnasium this Tuesday night at 7:30. See a great card this Tuesday night at the J.D. Miser Junior High School Gymnasium. Dr. Death is going to be there along with Freebird Michael Hayes, the Fantastics, Chavo Guerrero, and many more. Tickets are on sale to Junior High School, Pack Rat Mail Center in Araby, Stable Sporting Goods in Gretna, Grace King High School, and Home Video in Kenner. Come to Morgan City Municipal Auditorium Thursday night, December the 11th, 7:30. A big UWF card. And Lynn LaRonger at the Coliseum Friday night, December 12th at 7:30. And right here in New Orleans, this Monday night is Fan Appreciation Night at the Lakefront Arena. See 8 great matches and 4 main events. General admission tickets reduced to only $4. Autograph party with all your favorite stars starts this Monday night at the Lakefront at 6 o'clock. See Hacksaw Duggan and Dr. Death take on the Giant one-man gang in Badly War Brown. See Dark Journey go one-on-one with Missy Hyatt. The television title is going to be online, plus a cowards match and much more. We'll have all the details in the hour. Everybody, Jim Ross back with you here on Power Pro Wrestling. My good friend Don Walton of the Dallas Times-Herald here with us. Don, now your column appearing Wednesdays and Fridays, I understand, in the paper.
That's right, Jim. We finally did it. We got it into Wednesdays and Fridays. It'll be appearing, well, it already is appearing next to the TV guide. And we kind of changed a few things. We're starting to talk a little bit more about what they can be seen on television, but we're still going to talk about the wrestlers themselves and some of the personalities, answer the mail, whatever. But we've got it out twice a week, and we're real proud of that.
I'll tell you, the Dallas Times-Herald, one of the leading newspapers in the nation. And my favorite writer, Skip Bayless, writes for the Times-Herald, so I'd read it religiously. The posters here that have been appearing in the Times-Herald in the last few months are going to be reappearing, I understand, with some UWF stars in the Times-Herald. We'll have a feature on that next week, by the way, but tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Jim, we started with one of the other associations some months back, and we ran 8, and they were so successful that we've decided to do it again. In fact, we started today rerunning a couple until we can get your people in the studio, and then we're going to run at least 8 of your top people. And we're really looking forward to it. We think it's going to sell a lot of newspapers and give wrestling fans a lot of posters to plaster their rooms with.
You bet. And I'll tell you something else. We got a new exciting magazine that I know the UWF's very proud of. And And tell us a little bit about All Pro Wrestling.
Well, Jim, this is our magazine. I'm also one of the editors of this magazine. This is our first issue of the All Pro Wrestling. It just came out Thursday. In fact, we opened it at the Superdome. It has a real nice picture here at the front on the Freebirds, but the nicest picture right here on the back. Probably one of the best pictures I've ever seen of Missy Hyatt.
I thought you'd like that picture.
But there's also some good stuff in here. We've got an interview, just a going-away interview with the Freebirds, a lot of color shots, stories on Missy and John Tatum, why they broke up, the Fantastics.
A lot of different things in the magazine. We'll be talking to Don as the next match progresses, but right now, let's go down to the ring in Doyle King.
Ladies and gentlemen, this event is scheduled for one fall, a 10-minute time limit. Behind me, wrestling out of the blue corner tonight, weighing 235 pounds from Cuba, Gustavo Mendoza. And to my left, weighing in at 250 pounds, the television heavyweight champion from Savannah, Georgia, Savannah Jack.
See him? Don Walton and I here at this legendary facility next to the world's largest honky-tonk, Billy Bob's, Texas. And for you fans in the Metroplex that would like to join us for our television taping, they begin taping on Saturday night in just the next few weeks, as a matter of fact. And there's plenty of free parking at Billy Bob's as Savannah Jack backs Gustavo Mendoza to the ropes. And Don, I'll tell you, Savannah Jack is a man that has really improved, in my opinion, in the last several weeks, and he sets as the #1 contender for the UWF Heavyweight Championship. That really makes him a marked man.
I would say so, and well, I like them pants he's got on tonight. Those are really pretty, aren't they? I guess you'd call them pretty, but
very colorful.
He's a very, very well improved athlete, and coming on strong. And
I'll tell you,
better look out, because he's on his way.
I'll tell you, he is a tremendous, tremendous athlete. Former collegiate football player, Savannah Jack. As I mentioned, the television champion in the Universal Wrestling Federation secures the #1 position in the top 10. And he is in the catbird seat, so to speak.
Well, he's got no easy match tonight from the looks of it. This gentleman doesn't look easy.
Gustavo Mendoza always gives a good accounting of himself. Savannah Jack coming off the ropes, shows his agility. Oh. A nice arm drag takedown. He's at 6'3", 250 pounds, Savannah Jack is a very agile man. His athletic ability really comes to the front.
Well, this is one we're going to have to make sure that the television fans know about this, so I'll have to mention it in my column. Because this looks like it's going to be really a top-notch match before it's over with.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, fans in the Metroplex or wherever Dallas Times-Herald are sold, we'd like to invite you to pick up the paper, especially on Wednesdays and Fridays, and read Don's column as Gustavo Mendoza goes to work on Savannah Jack. Referee Edward Falk having a little trouble communicating with Gustavo. And right into the foot. And he is proficient with either foot, Don. The super kick that he uses is very effective, very similar to gentleman Chris Adams, and the kick that Chavo Guerrero uses.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you mentioned super kick, I don't think there's another one more well-known than what Chris Adams has, but I have seen Savannah Jackson. It's devastating.
Uh-oh. High elevation for Gustavo Mendoza. So, oh, right there it was, the super kick.
That may be it. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, Savannah Jack with a super kick and a victory on Power Pro Wrestling. Don, thanks very much for being with us. We'll look forward to that feature next week on the posters, and we look forward to reading your column Wednesdays and Fridays.
Well, thank you, Jim, and we certainly appreciate you having us on, and like I said, we'll see you later.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back. Chavo Guerrero joins us right after this timeout from the Universal Wrestling Federation. Gentlemen of Power Pro Wrestling, my friend Chavo Guerrero here with us, and Chavo will be providing the color commentary, hopefully through the balance of the hour. And Chavo, I'll tell you, you've had some tremendous battles involving Hollywood John Tatum and Jack Victory. I mentioned at the top of the hour the fact that John Tatum had sustained 2 broken legs in a car accident. Right. And I want to get your comments on this situation because I know you've been troubled by what has gone on. But before we hear from Chavo, let's hear these pre-recorded comments from Jack Victory.
Jack Victory has requested some time to come out here and make some sort of important statement.
Yeah, I got a couple things I have to say. This past week, Hollywood John Tatum was in a car accident. He suffered a couple broken bones in the car accident. Well, I'd like to tell all you people out here right now, and I'd like to tell my best friend John Tatum, you will be back, and these people know it. One more thing. Me and John Tatum at his bedside in the hospital, we decided, hey, who's a good partner to take my place for a couple months? We called my friend here and Johnny's friend Mike George up, and he was more than happy to come down and take Johnny's place.
Oh, thank you. I'll do my job.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's all we got to say.
Well, Jack Victory and John Tatum, a little bit of skull session, so to speak. Mike George, a new partner. But what's your thoughts on this situation? You really had a hot situation going with John Tatum and Jack Victory, for that matter.
Well, you know, I don't wish this on anybody, but, you know, in our life, in this profession, in this business, not only are we in danger in the ring, but we're in danger on the road from the airplane because we travel so much. And like I said, I don't wish it on anybody. But let me say one thing, John Tatum. I hope that you get well soon, because the sooner that you get better, the faster that I can take care of business with you in the ring. And meanwhile, we have Jack Victory. Now, Jack Victory doesn't have Tatum. You know, I'm getting a little sick and tired, whether it's a Michael Hayes, whether it's an Akbar, John Tatum, and Victory. They always had the odds. Make sure that the odds are with them with more people in their corner. Now, Jack Victory, you by yourself, you got this Mike George, and we're going to see what happens.
Well, I'll tell you something. The odds were in their favor just not too long ago. Let's go back in time and join Chavo Guerrero in a situation that he won't soon forget. Chavo, with a very short fuse, he boils quickly. That Hispanic temper reaches the boil in a hurry. Football tackle by John Tatum. A nice leg trip by Chavo Guerrero. Now look at this. Chavo can tie you in numerous knots. Chavo going for a difficult offensive maneuver there to see if he can get it set. He's trying to pull Tatum back, and look at the strain it's going to put on Tatum's legs and his back. What a move by Chavo Guerrero. And Tatum feels it all over his backside. European forearms by Chavo, those undercutting forearms, and they're stinging. Oh, Chavo Guerrero went for the flying headbutt. Tatum ducked, and Chavo nailed the referee with that headbutt. Keep your eye on Jack Victory. He's at ringside. He's an opportunist. Step-on kick, and he caught it. Chavo Guerrero has nailed Hollywood John Tatum, and look at this. Chavo! Victory move, Tatum out of the way, but Chavo nailed Jack Victory. Tatum with a sneak attack now on Chavo Guerrero, but Victory's in the ring. It's going to be a disqualification. The referee's calling for the bell. And now Victory and Tatum double teaming Chavo Guerrero. Chavo up to the top. Chavo Guerrero leaping right out of the ring. It's Guerrero with a disqualification victory. Tatum and Victory frustrated. They wanted their ticket to Chavo, but Guerrero. All right, Chavo, is a great match. What a move, but again, 2-on-1.
Now you know what I'm talking about. Now you people can see what I'm talking about. Ustedes pueden ver de lo que estoy hablando. This is not right. I was taught one-on-one. It's an individual sport, one-on-one, not two-on-one, not three-on-one, and there's something got to be done about it. If the authorities can't do something, well, then I think we're going to have to take matters in our own hands, Jim.
That from Chavo Guerrero, and Chavo and I'll be right back with more Power Pro Wrestling. The Tag Team Championship will be on the line when we return.
General Skandor Akbar presents from Chicago, Illinois, weighing in at 375 pounds, Big Bad Leroy Brown. And his tag team partner for this event, weighing 295 pounds from Minnesota, Wild Bill Chauncey Irwin.
I'll knock you off, boy.
way he was introduced. And this match, remember, is for the UWF Tag Team Championship. Their opponents, the challengers, will soon be coming into view, I'm assuming. Iceman King Parsons and Terry Taylor. It's going to be quite a contest, Chavo. The Iceman and Taylor.
I'll tell you what, you couldn't ask for a better tag team, in my opinion. Iceman King Parsons and, of course, Terry Taylor, they both have experience. They both have good tag team combinations, and they both have been champions before, and this is going to be one heck of a match.
And in the ring right now, entering the Iceman King Parsons, 235 pounds from St. Louis, and his tag team partner for this event from Vero Beach, Florida, Terry Taylor. This event to go 30-minute time limit, one fall for the UWF Tag Team Championship.
This match, ladies and gentlemen, is one fall or television time remaining here on Power Pro Wrestling. Bad Leroy Brown and Wild Bill Irwin will put the belts on the line in the Tag Team Championship of the Universe against the team of Iceman King Parsons and Terry Taylor. And one interesting side note here, Chavo, that I would like to bring out is that you've been tag team partners with both the Iceman and Terry Taylor, so your insight should, I think, be very valuable and very unique during this matchup.
Well, thank you very much, Jim, but there's nothing but the truth. They are very good, and you know, you have, we've talked about this before, you have to think alike to be tag team partners, and you have to be what the Iceman is doing right now. He's great, he's fast, and they both are very charismatic.
They certainly are. And one thing about Taylor and the Taylor and the Iceman, as I started to say, is the fact that their speed and quickness, I think, is definitely an asset against these two big men with a combined weight of over 670 pounds. Speed and quickness is always a factor in any athletic contest, and same with pro wrestling.
Well, you know, you're right, Jim. But then again, the advantage goes back to the team of the champions, not only because they are the champions, but because they have one Skandor Akbar on their corner. And like I said, this makes the odds even, not even what I'm talking about. But I'm so mad. I'm so disappointed because of all the interference that's been going on. I can't even say it right. Akbar there.
The deck's stacked.
Yeah, he can distract the referee. He can distract the other wrestler, and it works to their advantage.
Well, there's a tag here, and I don't think Wild Bill, but there's an introduction to Terry Taylor's right hand. You know, with Akbar on the outside, Chavo, you can look at all the film of Irwin and Brown you want to, but he's an intangible. How do you scout his interference? You know it could happen at any time, but you don't know where, you don't know when.
Well, that's just it. Akbar has been around for so long, and he has been very successful as a manager, that he knows he studies, you know what he studies the most? Now, I heard this from a very reliable source. He studies the referees to see which way they move when they count their face, so he can be on the other side, or he can be on that side when he wants to distract them, and that's very clever.
Very interesting.
As a manager.
No, it is. It's extremely interesting scouting the officials. They do have a very viable part in the match.
Because because you know, if the official doesn't see it, he can't call it.
That's exactly the way it is. Bad Leroy Brown. Boy, he's a monster, Chavo. 6'3.5", 375 pounds.
I'll tell you what, when you wrestle this man, it's like wrestling a brick wall. I mean, nothing moves. You know, usually you hit somebody and something gives. You got to hit this man very, very hard and at the right place, or he's not going to move. Like
well, we saw Terry Taylor. Those right hands didn't really seem to faze Bad Leroy a great deal, but Taylor's drop kick certainly did. And now Bad Leroy taking his opponent, Terry Taylor, to the corner, and that's where they'll stay a lot. I'll tell you, they stay in their half of the ring as much as they possibly can, and that's good, sound tag team strategy.
Well, they're not the champions for no reason, you know. I don't agree with a lot of the tactics they do, but this man right here, Bill Irwin, he's been around the world, he's been to Japan, and let's face it, let's give credit where credit is due, and he's a good wrestler, but now that time, Terry Taylor outsmarted him.
Irwin trying to come off with that fist. Taylor moved out of the way, and there's the Iceman. The fresh man in the ring is Iceman King Parsons. And now it's Bad Leroy coming in, uninvited. He was not tagged. And the Iceman in great condition from St. Louis, and he is opening up on Irwin and Brown, the tag team champions. And remember, this match is for the titles. That was a cheap shot by Leroy Brown, the veteran from Chicago. Out goes the Iceman all the way on the table, the announcer's table. That tea kettles and pots and pans and whatever else went flying. Oh, a clothesline.
Good, good. That was very clever move by Terry Taylor. Now watch Iceman's getting up. He's getting up on the third rope. And he gives him that hip attack. And there's Leroy for the count. The referee should turn around right there. So 1, 2, 3.
The Wild Bill with that kick. The long rider style boots and the kick. The Iceman, I thought, had plenty for the... Look at Leroy. Leroy Brown's just about out of it. And there's a pin. You turn your back on him one time. Akbar's interference, his distractions, and Wild Bill and the boot to the head was all for Iceman King Parsons.
That's what we were talking about. Where is the referee? And that's what Akbar did. He came around for just a second, and that was it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the tag team champions retain the championship, and we'll be back. Big Jeff Gaylord against the 322-pound Angel of Death right after this timeout. Gentlemen, to the Cowtown Coliseum, Jim Ross and Chavo Guerrero here with you. Thank you very much for being with us. We certainly appreciate it as Michael P.S. Hayes leads his mercenary, the 322-pound Angel of Death, Chavo, to the ring.
Yeah, now notice there's two guys, okay? Michael Hayes and the Angel of Death. Now notice how many people Gaylord comes out with just by himself. Whatever happened to the one-on-one?
That's a good point. We'll talk about that, but right now let's hear the ring introductions.
You know, it's really bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, this event scheduled for one fall, a 10-minute time limit. First of all, Michael P.S. Hayes presents, weighing in at 322 pounds, from California, the Angel of Death. And to my immediate left, working out of the red corner tonight, weighing in at 259 pounds, from Kansas City, Jeff Gaylord.
Boy, he's a fine-looking young athlete, Chavo, Jeff Gaylord.
Without a doubt. Do you know that he is the strongest athlete to ever play in the Big 8 Conference? And I'm talking about the strongest athlete in any sport. He can bench something like 625 pounds or something like that.
Oh, his strength is amazing. He did. I did read one time he held the bench press record for the Big 8 Conference and still holds that record, as a matter of fact. He was a great football player at San Antonio, New Orleans, and the USFL.
That's right. That's right. Great athlete.
But I don't know if he's ever gone one-on-one, even against the great teams at Oklahoma and Nebraska, like this man, the Angel of Death, 322. But Jeff Gaylord.
Oh, what a good drop kick.
Way up there, Jeff Gaylord.
Yeah.
Showing some flexibility and some great coordination. He's a big young man, and he hasn't scratched the surface of his potential yet. I think we have to see his best days. But that man, I don't know if he's ever had a good day, and I can say a lot about him, Chavo, that I won't.
All I got to say is that he's at ringside, and he shouldn't be at ringside, because this should be a contest between one Angel of Death, and the only thing that I like about him is that he's from my parts, California, and one young Jeff Gaylord, which is coming along great, and he shouldn't even be there. This is what I'm talking about. 2 against 1, 3 against 1. Akbar, Hayes, victory. And it's just going out of proportion. It's not right.
Eddie Gilbert's entourage.
There you go.
Double teaming, triple teaming. Back to the match right here. The Angel of Death. And look at Michael Hayes, who has prevented Sunshine from appearing on the program. Michael has declined to make any interviews. He doesn't want to talk to anybody. He wants to hurt people, and he wants to see people get injured. Hayes is... I tell you, he's a changed man. Normally he comes out strutting, strolling, listening to his own music. No music for Michael Hayes. Very, very sterile environment. He wants to, I think he's changing his MO somewhat, Chavo.
Well, I think he's not doing all that for himself, but for Bam Bam and for, for the Angel. I don't know if the Angel is on his entourage or not, but it's always with him. I think that he's got to be mad, and he's doing something about the fact that they lost the tag team, that they lost to the UWF. And that Buddy lost the TV championship, and he's changing. And look at the Angel of Death. Oh, can you imagine all that weight coming on your neck?
322, the clothesline off the second rope. He's a monster, 6'7", 322 pounds. A very decisive victory for the big man from California, the Angel of Death.
Oh, I think he's getting mad at the Angel of Death. And now, this is what I'm talking about. This is not right. What business does he have? Jeff Gaylord is hurt. He hasn't even signed a contract to wrestle Michael Hayes. And look at Michael Hayes. He's going after an injured Jeff Gaylord.
There's no reason for that. Hayes, he just had not seen enough. He said, that's not what I wanted. I wanted somebody hurt.
Oh, that's not right.
Boy,
they should have some kind of rule against stuff like this. This is uncalled for. It's a sportsmanship-like, but then it's very Michael Hayes, what he will do at any time.
Gaylord's head just rammed into that steel ring post. You can hear Hayes saying, get on him, and Gaylord has been busted open.
He's bleeding. He's bleeding, and I'll tell you what, this could discourage Jeff Gaylord. I'm sure this never happened to him in football. There's got to be a fine right here. This is uncalled for, and I'm getting madder by the second.
Gaylord's head has been busted open. You can see him bleeding. Michael Hayes and the Angel of Death, unmerciful with their attack on Jeff Gaylord. Ladies and gentlemen, the Freebirds. Hayes is diminished, and Chavo Guerrero and I'll be back. The Fantastics and exciting tag team action when we come back.
For one fall or television time remaining. First introducing to my right, weighing in at 256 pounds from St. Joe, Missouri, Art Cruz. And weighing 275 pounds, also from St. Joe, Missouri, Mike George.
Mike George and Art Cruz here on Power Pro Wrestling. And Chavo, they're going to be going against one of the most popular teams in the history of the Universal Wrestling Federation or any other wrestling organization. Tommy Rogers and Bobby Fulton, better known as the Fantastics.
Los Fantásticos, as we say in Spanish. And look at the people stand up as soon as they hear the music by ZZ Top. And you said it. They are one of the, if not the most popular ever. And they're not only popular, but they're a good team. Former UWF tag team champions. And they're just great to be with, not only in the ring, but it's a pleasure to just be around them in the dressing room and everywhere.
I think you could say those guys are party animals.
Oh,
Well, that may be an understatement, huh? I'm being kind. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you that in the last match involving Jeff Gaylord and the Angel of Death, the referee disqualified the Angel of Death and Michael Hayes for their actions after the bell had sounded, and Jeff Gaylord was awarded the victory by disqualification. I know that's not going to make Jeff feel any better physically right now, but hopefully, mentally, he'll be a little bit better, after hearing that decision.
Well, Jim, the referee did all he could. The referee can do so much. He's a referee, he's not a wrestler. He can't get in there physically and try to stop him. He can, but he's going to get knocked down. Now, I'm sure there's going to be a fine limit. I haven't heard of anything, but there's got to be. But you know what? You said it's not going to do any difference for Jeff, but it will because it will go in his record as a win.
That's a good point.
It's a win, and that's what gets you to the top. Winning. So it goes in the record. It's a win for Jeff Gaylord, and I haven't heard how he is, and let's hope, wish him luck.
I would not doubt that some stitches were not in order for Jeff Gaylord after that encounter. Ladies and gentlemen, right here next week on the program, listen to this. Next week here on the program, it's going to be Freebird Buddy Jack Roberts. It's been signed against the one-man gang. Plus, Dr. S.D. Williams against the Angel of Death. We'll have special features on the Dallas Times-Herald posters with Don Walton and a special feature on Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Right now, let's go to the ring.
Making his entrance to the ring right now, two of the sharp-dressed men in professional wrestling, the former UWF heavyweight tag team champions, weighing in at 420 pounds from the City of Angels, Tommy Rogers and Bobby Fulton, the Fantastics.
Boy, they're popular here in the Metroplex. Tommy Rogers and Bobby Fulton. Well, I tell you, they're my fast-breaking team, Chavo. I've kind of hung that descriptive phrase on them because they crank it up, they get it on, just like ZZ Top. Crank it up and listen to it loud and clear, and they will crank it up before this was all over with the two men from St. Joe, Missouri, from the Show Me State, Mike George and Arthur Cruz.
Now, you can notice there's a little difference in size there, but what they don't have in size, and I'm talking because I'm I'm what you consider, I consider myself a normal man. All these other guys are giants.
Well, you're 225.
And all these other guys are giants. But you have to make up for it in speed and in teamwork.
Technique, expertise.
Oh, yeah, technique, repertoire, and strength. It does everything. And now Mike George is taking Tatum's place, like we said before, but he is a veteran, without a doubt, and a very good wrestler. You can tell just by the way he moves. And there's a lockup, what we call a referee's position, or lock horns in professional wrestling. And what you do here is like you try to taunt each other, feel each other out, see what each other's game plan is, and set the mood for the match.
A little mind games played on those collar and elbow tie-ups there. Mike George, 275. And look at that, shows you Bobby Fulton's strength.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's not only strength, it's leverage. It's leverage. If you try to pick him up and he doesn't want to go, you can't take him. You got to get him when he's tilted to one side, or it depends on which way you want to pick him up, Jim. And that's very important because it makes it so much easier.
If he could call picking up a man that weighs 275 pounds easy. And Mike George now challenging, tagging Art Cruz, and Cruz is body slammed by Bobby Fulton. And I think that in addition to the punishment, that it really surprised Art Cruz. Like, what's going on?
Well, sure, he just saw Mike George be slammed. He goes in there and he says, well, heck, he's not going to happen to me, right? And he surprises him. Bobby Fulton surprises him and slams him. Of course he's going to surprise him.
I think Cruz and George's strategy in this match would have to be to control the tempo. Let the match come to them, and you, meaning the Fantastics, you will wrestle our pace. You will wrestle our style. We will slow it down, and we will hammer you with power moves.
That's exactly right. You know, when I was coaching, what a great move, what a great teamwork, and a good, what a drop kick. Tommy Rogers came in there, and he kind of fooled Cruz, looking the other way, and he surprised him with a drop kick. But as I was saying, when I was coaching, that's what I would tell my students. Make the man wrestle your match, because once you get to wrestling their match, then you're playing the game by their rules, by their way, and it's not going to be that easy to win. You know what I mean?
Exactly right. Chavo Guerrero from the Guerrero Wrestling family, and a young man that prides himself in education. This great crowd here at the Cowtown Coliseum showing their enthusiasm. We thank you very much if you're watching this morning on our flagship station, KTVT, the Super Ones. Another great Gaylord broadcasting station here in the Metroplex. As Mike George backs Tommy Rogers, and again, the pace has slowed down somewhat, Chavo, and the power starts coming to the top.
You're right. You're right. You know, that's George, even though the Fantastics have taken advantage of all, great move. What a great move by this Tommy Rogers. Look at this. 3 turnbuckles in a row. Hits him with an elbow. This has got to discourage Mike George. You go in there with a game plan, and they beat you at your own game plan, and there's a little stunt by the one and only the Fantastics. And if we say in Spanish, son fantásticos estos hombres, y lo pueden ver como están luchando. They're great. I am a wrestler, and I've been watching wrestling since I was 5, and this is one of my favorite teams to watch. I just love to sit down and watch it because it's always full-packed action all the time.
Oh, they kick it in gear. You're right. And that's why fans all around the country are turning out to see Universal Wrestling, and those first blood, I quit bunkhouse brawls come dressed as you are. What a matchup that's going to be. It's got to be the most dangerous match ever in wrestling, because the only way you can be eliminated from those matches is to quit or to bleed, and that is some tough stipulations for you athletes to get involved in.
Well, you know, I was just reading the stipulations like you said, and the first one to draw blood is automatically a loser. So you have to be careful not to open any all wounds, or to get hurt, or to get popped in the nose, because as soon as you start bleeding, you lose. You know what I mean? And getting back to the match, that was a good monkey flip on the part of Bobby Fulton, and Mike George realized it, and he went in and tagged his partner, Art Cruz.
Art Cruz with a challenge there to Bobby Fulton as he entered the ring. Let's see what you can do now, boy. Well, I'll tell you, you don't have to invite the Fantastics to get on the offense and really get some offensive firepower, because they've got it, as Art Cruz with a side headlock on Bobby Fulton here on Power Pro Wrestling from the Cowtown Coliseum. Tommy Rogers with a very concerned look. His partner's in a tough predicament here.
And you know what has surprised me? We've been talking all program from the beginning of how there's always an uneven situation in the corners. And it surprises me that it's 2-on-2 right now.
I like that.
I like that,
I'm going to
too.
knock on wood here, Chavo. I
And you
hope
can
it stays that way.
Sure, you can see the difference right there. The Fantastics have been controlling the match, and there's a good tackle on the part of our Cruz. Against Bobby Fulton, another tackle. Our Cruz hits the rope. Bobby drops down. Oh, good body press. Good body press. Good tag. Now, this is what makes them different. They tag quick. They make a lot of tags. They keep a fresh man in the rings, and they keep the opponent. Beautiful.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a thing of beauty. Tommy Rogers' drop kick is a thing of beauty. I don't care where you look at wrestling. This is phenomenal.
Beautiful wrestling move. Beautiful wrestling move. You got to keep your opponent always guessing. Whether it's football, basketball, professional wrestling, anything, you've got to keep him guessing what's he going to do next. And when you got two guys like the Fantastics, you always got to be guessing because they have so many ways to come on, so many angles to come at you, so many holes, and they think alike.
Exactly right. There's Jack Victory down there.
What's he doing there, man? We were just talking about having too many. Oh, this is not right, Jim. What's he doing? I know that Mike George is taking his play. What reason does he have to? I can't even talk. I'm really getting mad about this situation. It's happened the whole program. It happens every night, and I don't know what's going to happen. They should do something about this.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've just been notified we've got to take a commercial break. We'll keep the cameras taping here, and we'll be back with more of this tag team match after this important word from the Universal Wrestling Federation. Himself, while we were at the commercial break, Chavo has been very adamant that he did not want any interference. He was tired of it, no matter who it's coming from, especially from Jack Victory and his entourage. And Chavo, I think, has just gone to the ringside to keep an eye on things. And I'll tell you, he made himself and his feelings very, very clear as this hour has progressed that he does not like this 3-on-2 or 2-on-1s. And I agree with him. And I'm sure the fans at home, you'll agree with us as well. What happened to evenly fought contests? How about 1-on-1? Well, Akbar and Michael Hayes, Eddie Gilbert, that crew, and Jack Victory may have a difference of opinion. That's certainly their right. But fair is fair. And Mike George, in this very important ranking match in the Universal Wrestling Federation Tag Team Standings, the Fantastics so desperately moving up the ladder to try to get another match for the Tag Team Championship, helped by Devastation Incorporated, Brown and Irwin. This match is very important as far as the Fantastics are concerned, and the same holds true for Art Cruz and Mike George. Remember, I mentioned earlier in the hour, Buddy Jack Roberts and the One-Man Gang right here on TV next week, and Dr. Death against the Giant Angel of Death right here next week on Power Pro Wrestling. Right back in the ring, a great camera shot. Our cameras take you right into the squared circle here on Power Pro Wrestling. Art Cruz with that elbow. And now Cruz and George, the St. Joe, Missouri natives, have got things going their way here on Power Pro Wrestling. Big, powerful Mike George. As I said earlier, and Chavo Guerrero elaborated on the point that Cruz and George would probably try to slow the pace down and use power tactics. That's exactly what we're seeing here now. The bear hug is a classic example of that strategy. Bobby Fulton being punished by the 275-pounder from the Show Me Straight, Mike George. We've only got a couple of minutes left here on the program. And as is customary here, as we take a look at Tommy Rogers, we will keep the action and keep you right in the action as long as we possibly can as this hour draws to a close here on Power Pro Wrestling. Mike George with that backbreaker to Bobby Fulton, and this just may be it for young Bobby Fulton, the Fantastics, and at the very, very last instance, and perhaps Chavo Guerrero's encouragement has helped Tommy Rogers in that predicament. Those words of encouragement certainly never hurt anyone. A knee lift by Bobby Fulton. Boy, that was a fourth quarter move. Reaching down, he's going desperately getting to the corner, and there's the tag. Here comes Tommy Rogers, the fresh man,